I'm Abby Duke, and this is my video feedback on Erica's paper regarding Sterling Burnett's defense of the gun manufacturers and the suing of them. Basically, we'll just go over the common topics that were mentioned by Erica in her paper, and then I will also add some topics that I saw in his speech that maybe weren't mentioned by Erica. So we'll go over definition, we'll go over comparison, relationship, circumstance, and testimony. First of all, Erica mentions definition, and as we know, definition basically means that the speaker of the debate basically defines the main issue at hand. And Erica basically says that the main issue here is blaming the person with the gun and not the guns themselves. And you certainly can't blame the manufacturers of the guns. So Sterling basically makes a good point of this. He basically says you can't, these manufacturers didn't know ahead of time that their products were going to be used for crime. So he kind of makes it clear that this is the issue, that we are blaming the wrong person, we're suing the manufacturers, and we're winning these lawsuits when this isn't just, because the manufacturers are not doing anything illegal. So I think that Erica certainly defines this common topic correctly, and she applies it well in her paper. And I certainly agree with that. The next common topic that she mentions is comparison. And she says that Sterling's main comparison in his speech is comparing guns to knives and cars. And basically, he uses comparison to kind of boost his debate by saying, if you're going to sue gun manufacturers for the crimes committed with their products, then you would have to sue car companies or car manufacturers and knife manufacturers for the crimes committed with their products. So he kind of paints the picture for the audience that maybe this isn't the most reasonable thing that's occurring. So I certainly agree with Erica. I would go right to this comparison, and I certainly, when I was writing notes, I certainly went right to this as well. So the next topic that Erica speaks about is relationship and the cause and effect relationship that Sterling Burnett uses in his speech. He basically says, if gun manufacturers keep getting sued, then this will lead to bankruptcy. People will be unemployed. It will leave the community vulnerable to crime, and then companies will flee to safer places, and then unemployment will rise. And so I certainly think that Erica's analysis and application of the cause and effect relationship is accurate, and I think that Sterling certainly uses this strategy to paint a picture for the audience. And he says, the cause is the lawsuits, and then it's going to affect the public in a negative way. So he basically sums it up for us. The next topic that Erica mentions is circumstance. And she mentions past fact and future fact. And the example that Erica uses is when Sterling says that citizens use guns in self-defense up to 3.6 million times annually. And Erica says this will affect our future if guns are taken away. I would say that this application is accurate, but there could be a little bit more to it. Instead of just saying, it will affect our future, she could have said what Sterling mentioned was that, it's going to lead to vulnerability of crime, it's going to lead to unemployment. This past fact that people have continually used guns in self-defense will affect a future fact of unemployment. So just a little more detail could have been used. And then she also mentions possible and impossible. And possible and impossible basically means, in this context, that the speaker, if he is for something, he wants to make it seem possible to the audience. Or if he is against something happening, he is going to make it seem impossible to the audience. So basically, I think that he does use the possible part, and he does say, hey, we can change this. We don't have to sue the manufacturers. We can use different language when crimes are committed with the guns to point the fingers at the correct people. A change can be made. So he does use the impossible possible application, but I just think in the paper it wasn't really explained too clearly, but I can definitely see where she was going and what she meant by that. The last subject that Erica mentions is testimony. She mentions the subtopics of statistics, authority, and law. And she mentions that Sterling Burnett uses his authority to persuade the audience, because in the first paragraph, he basically opens his speech by saying, I'm experienced, I've been with the NCPA for 5 years, and I've written literature on this subject, so I'm experienced, you can trust what I say. And basically, this is a strategy to convince the audience, to persuade the audience to kind of believe what he says. So I certainly think that Erica used the application correctly. And then she also mentions statistics, and Sterling does use statistics to kind of boost his side of the debate. He basically says, women are 2.5 times less likely to be seriously injured if they use a gun rather than any other form of resistance. And he uses statistics all throughout his speech, and basically statistics are used to persuade by kind of illustrating to the audience that the issue is impactful and it is meaningful and it is real. So he certainly uses this strategy, and Erica does mention this accurately, so I think that was a good job on her part. And then the last subtopic that she talks about is law, and she speaks about the Second Amendment, and she basically says the Second Amendment is at the heart of this debate, because the Second Amendment, you can't take the Second Amendment away from Americans because it's been around for 200 years, and it would be difficult, justifying taking that away, even though people are trying to do so. And you can also, it wasn't mentioned word for word, but you could also just say that, the manufacturers are not doing anything illegal. So, in the law, it says that they are perfectly fine with, manufacturing and making these guns. So that basically closes my video feedback. I just want to say great job to Erica. She certainly applied the topics well, and I also got something out of it and took something from her paper, and I think that she was completely accurate, and I enjoyed reading it, and thank you so much. Thank you.